Hello everyone, welcome to BIMModel.com. In this video tutorial, we will be discussing how to create a schedules for Revit MEPs. We will be creating a couple of schedules for duct pipes and fixtures, and we will be able to customize them and we'll be able to modify them as be required. So the important point is that how to use this schedule to check the quality of the model. So how to modify them, and we'll be touching upon appearance of the model and highlight them in the Revit elements. So stay tuned, watch full tutorials. Yeah, if you want a specific topic to be learned, and there is a timestamp in the description below, you'll be able to pick the times and you'll be able to go to this specific topic on the tutorials. So stay tuned. If you're not subscribed, do subscribe, and the same video tutorial files will be uploaded to bimmodel.com. You can download from there. We can let us start. The view tab, schedules, create schedules and quantities. In this one, we have to search for space and give a name that you wanted, space schedule. Select OK. Make sure you are in the schedule and building components. And you have to select the schedule properties. What are the elements that you want to show as column? In this case, space name, number, and area of the space, and if you need base offset, and in my case I am looking for the level, add into the list. And if you need any other parameters, you can add like perimeters or space type. Let me go ahead and add zone if you need it. Let's select OK. As we discussed earlier, so we'll be having list of parameters that as column with the name and number. If you need to rearrange this columns again, you can go back on the left side properties field. You can select the number, use the up arrow to move it upside. Select OK. And if you wanted to customize the schedule, we'll be discussing that in the later. With this, I'm moving on to the next tutorial. Let's create a view, schedule quantities, and we'll be creating a schedule for air terminal. Select the air terminal, give a proper name to the schedule, and select OK. We may need family and category type. Double click on this place to add into the list, or use the green button to move the parameter to the right side. Level, manufacturer name if you need, and the flow rate for the air terminal, elevation from the level. I will move this family to the upper side to see it clearly and select OK. So this is how you will be able to create air terminal schedule for your project. And if you see the manufacturer column, which is still empty because it is not yet filled. With this, we'll move on to the next schedule and quantities. We can say we'll be creating a duct schedule to find out the duct area and the requirement of the material. Create a schedule and quantities, duct, and give a name, select OK. In this case, I'll be adding family and family type. I'll move the family upside, and I need a size of the duct, area of the duct, and if you want to calculate the cost, you can add the cost to the end. And if you need any other options, maybe a length if you need it, and width, height. I'll move this height parameter to the end, and family to the top and area to the bottom. I'll select OK. We will be coming back and using all these parameters and how to modify this schedule. We'll be discussing one by one later tutorials, and stay tuned. With that, we'll be moving on to the next schedule, how to create a light fixture schedule. Schedule and quantities, light fixtures, give a name, make sure it is in schedule building components and it is in the new phase. Okay. As usual, we have to know that like family and family type names, and you can add type as a parameter also, which is there. I'll explain you what is the difference between these two. And we can add circuit number and going down looking for some level parameter to understand which level it is under. We can add at any time the columns, and at the moment this is enough for us to create. Select OK. This is our lighting fixture schedule, and we can modify this later time, and with that how to create a cable tray schedule from our project. So for cable tray, you know that there is a cable tray fittings and cable tray run and cable tray which is available by default, and I'm not creating any cable tray fittings and cable trays, and I'm just creating cable tray for this case. If you need cable tray fittings to be scheduled, you can create as a separate schedule in this place. Select OK, add family names and type name, and select size and service. And I'm looking for any other sizes that if you needed to add. That's it. If you wanted to add type, you can add, and we need to have bottom elevations and level. Bottom elevations. Let me go ahead and select OK. And if you see that the service type is not filled, and the type which is added here, the service type which is not defined, you can define it yourself, like fire alarm cable tray, data cable trays, small power trays. You can define your own names based on the requirement. As we discussed in our tutorials, we have to define it so that we will be able to differentiate the trays in schedules. For the type, if you see the difference between family and types, with the family name, the types are defined together in this place. You can keep this column, or you can remove this column if you needed to remove it. Let me select this and remove it from the column. And let's finish this, and we'll go ahead with the tutorial electrical fixture, how to create the schedules. The schedules will be similar as usual for all the things, and we have to go ahead, electrical fixture schedule, select OK, family name. The aim it is to understand at what level the fixtures are available, at what circuits it's connected with. So I think this is enough for us to understand the electrical component in each flows. Let me select OK. These are the fixtures that we have. We will be coming back to this to sort it out elements. The next thing will be plumbing fixtures schedule. To create a plumbing fixture schedule, go to view and create a schedule and quantities for the plumbing fixtures. Select the plumbing fixture and select OK. And select family and family category and elevation from the level we needed to understand it at what level they are available. And going down to see any other parameters we needed. In our case, that's it. If you need to understand what systems are connecting with that system, you will be able to add a system type and select OK. The system types are undefined. It means this is not connected with the element connector. So let it be as it is at the moment, and we will be coming back to discuss in detail how do we modify these elements. For this, let's create a pipe schedule, schedule and quantities, pipe schedule in Revit. There are different options. The creating schedules for each elements will be similar as we are discussing. You can see that you can create pipe systems and pipes separately, pipe insulation separately, pipe fittings separately. And there is a question regarding this, if, are we able to combine pipe fittings and pipes together? No. If you want to combine a pipe system and with the pipes, yes, possible as an embedded schedule. I will let you know in the after session of this tutorial and while we're discussing the modified schedules and other things. Let's create pipe schedule, select OK, and family name, types, and I like to know the size and level which is in, and I'm looking for the bottom elevation and the length. I'm selecting OK to create the schedule. The schedules are created. You can scroll down. There are many elements in this one. So this is how you will be able to create your schedules. For the next session, you will be discussing how to modify these schedules, add an element, remove the elements. We have created all these schedules one by one. If you want to create any other schedules, you can follow the same tutorials. But in our case, we want to sort and grouping the elements based on our requirement. If you see the space schedule we have created, the numbers in the space schedule looks odd, which is not in ascending or descending orders. We need to sort this using the option sorting and grouping. Use the edit button here, and we want to sort the numbers. I can go ahead and select numbers. Based on the number, it can be sorted out in ascending or descending. I can select OK. Now, if you see that the room numbers are ordered in a way like this. But if you see, we have levels also. And if you see level 1, level 2 elements are mixed together. And if you want to avoid that, we can go ahead and to the sorting and grouping. We want to align that first using the level and then select OK. Now level 1 elements will be at the beginning. The order will be descending again. Again, go back to sorting and grouping. Use the second option. Now we have to use the number here, level 1, level based on the level and number. You see, now the numbers will be ordered like this. In other ways, if you go sorting and grouping, first numbers and then level based on your requirement. In this case, the sorting will be happening on the other way around like this, based on the level and then grouping. What is grouping? This is called sorting. What is grouping? You'll be able to add a blank line in between to differentiate the things, or add a footing. In the footing, you will be able to see the title, count and totals. Let's see based on the level how many rooms are there. After that, it should order by number. Select OK. Now we can see that from the level 1 there are 30 rooms, and if I scroll down, in level 2 there are 33 rooms. They are ordered in the room numbers like this. There is a single space gap between each of them. So this is how we'll see a couple of examples, and you will be able to see here there are some rooms, it means two rooms not placed in the project. You know that sometime if you are trying to place in the Revit rooms, and you will be deleting those rooms if it is not necessary, and in that case it will become not placed rooms in schedule. If you see now there are three rooms not placed. I'll make Control Z one time to remove it. But if you see these elements are existing in Revit, we have to remove this room if it is not necessary, really necessary. So you can completely delete a space or room from the Revit by selecting the rows and deleting these rows. It will be completely deleted from the Revit. This, and we can move to the other example, air terminal schedule. We have air terminal schedules in this place, and as you know, the manufacturer deals are not filled. If I'm saying that the manufacturer will be price industries, and it's a type parameter, so the parameter will be filled for all the types which is available in this list. If I scroll down, some of them will be price industries based on their types. By the same way, you can apply to other companies name, ABC company. The list will be continuously filling based on the type that we have. Now I like to sort this based on the levels, and I like to move this level field up, and I like to go to the sorting field. I like to sort based on the level, and then I like to group them in the footer. I'll have a blank space, and okay. And you can see that there are things ABCDN available, and if I wanted to chart it based on the any other parameters, like for example family types, I can do that this way. And if I wanted to see, if you see, if I'm grouping it based on the family or family type, if I'm doing it, I need to know only the how many families are there or how many air terminals are there in that type. I need a count for that. So go to add a count to the list. Now if I saying it, each element is instance, it will show each instance as a separate one. Now I want to see only the family, how many families are used or how many types are used in each one of them. So let me go and select the family and type, and if I untick this option, so instead of showing each instance, it is going to show how many are there in the total. Now I don't need a blank space in between of them, so I can remove the footer and blank line, and I can have how many types, how many elements are there based on that. And we can quote it, we can take it to the estimation and quoting, and we can remove the unnecessary column if you have it. And still I need to make it based on the manufacturer, so that we will be get to know what type and what manufacturers list we have. These are the manufacturers informations need to be filled. So this is from level 1 and level 2. So this is how you'll be able to use your sorting and grouping based on your requirement in this place. Here, if you see, I like to align this also based on the family category or the size. You can say, for example, the size I need to calculate a later time the cost. So better it is to have based on area or based on size, we can categorize it. So go to this sorting and grouping, and let me group it based on the size. I'll be itemizing each and every instances. And coming back, I'll show all the elements in here like this. You can see that it shows as 0 meter. You know that Revit having units by default under the manage tab, units. The depth size will be defined, the area will be defined in meter squared, but if you want to change that into a smaller units, you will be able to do it in this format unit option and use project, and you can change that into millimeter squared and see what are the actual values are. But usually it will be in project unit that at the meter squared. Let it be as it is. And going back to the light fixture, so I like to keep them as level based, so I'll be adding this level to the top and going to the sorting and grouping based on the level. I'll be sorting it, and in the footer I will show what is it. And I can scroll down. You can see some of the levels are not assigned with the lighting fixtures. We have to go and check each fixtures that what is the reason behind it and how do we do it. And we'll be using this highlight icon to see which element it is. Highlight in the model space, and there is no open view lighting plan view, so it will going to open a correct view, and we can see that this is the light fixture which is highlighted. And on the left side, if you see that the schedule level which is not assigned, but if I see that it is in the level 3, and I can select and I can say level 3 in this place. Once if I do that, if I come back, and the light fixture which is assigned with level 3 will be moved automatically to the schedules. It's a bi-directional thing that automatically happens. So similarly, as we discussed, this can be used as a quality checking also. Some of the elements not filled in, so you will be able to use it as quality checking for the purpose. Cable tray schedule, so let it be as it is. So this is how you'll be able to use the sorting and grouping, and you will be able to come up with the list things that what you needed. Let me see if I can show you any other examples in this place. Yeah, the same sorting out can be done for based on the level. I hope this can be a practice for you. You can do it yourself. With that, let's move on to the filter. So how to use the schedule filter in Revit, and how to filter only the specific elements. So in this case, I like to see only the level 3 pictures. What are the pictures used in level 3? So I like to take a schedule and print it out separately. So in that case, I'll go and select the filter, and I can have the level value here if it is equals to level 3. So there are different options. You can omit level 3 or equal to, you can values can be given. You can type it your own value. So you can filter multiple levels. There are about 8 different parameters that you can control to filter it out. In sorting and grouping, you had like four types, 4 ways that you can filter sorting and grouping, but in filter we have multiple options. I'm going to filter only the level 3, and if I scroll down, only the level 3 elements will be shown in this one. So I can rename this schedule electrical fixture in level 3. So this way it will be more appropriate for us to understand. And going back to the pipe figures thing, like the same way we can filter out only the pipe size which are in 20, or pipe size which are in 22, whatever the elements that you define. So we can go ahead and sorting and grouping. First do a sort and group based on the family and based on the family type, and after that you'll be able to filter based on the size equals to 25. It lists only the 25 diameter like this. So these are the only numbers we have, so we'll be able to filter it out as separately pipe 25 millimeter schedule. You can use any parameters to list it out. So let's go back to the space, and if we see that I like to see only the corridor to be scheduled in this schedule, I can go back to the filter and say in the name which is contains, we can say, or begins with, we can say begins with Kari, like we can keep it as full name or off name, begins with it is, so we can filter out only those. So in this way we will be able to take a schedule, so how many corridors are there and what will be the areas of that and what zones under that it's coming, so we can keep like this as a separate schedule. There are different options available regarding the formattings. You can go to the format options to format any cells or any elements. You can select any field that you want to format. So first of all, we are selecting the number field, um, the head orientation, how do you need, horizontal or vertical, you can change and select OK, and it will be get updated. The next thing is that if you go ahead and to the formatting, let me change this alignment, no need. And coming back downside, if you see that hidden field, this is one of the options available in this ribbon tab also. Select OK to hide the field, or you can select one more tab, name tab, and say hide the column in from this option, hide column, and it will be hidden. You can go back to the formatting and select the field and untick this option, number and name. You will be able to unhide these columns as similar to this place. The formatting options are also very useful, and if you want to show the grand total, how to show the grand total in your projects. So for example, I like to tick this option. I like to show the grand total of the elements, how many total number of corridor rooms available in this one as per our filter, and then I will turn on this grand total. It will show the there are 11 corridors in this projects. So in case if you want to total this area, you can go to the formatting option, select the area. If you see that the field format is available, you can show in square meter or square millimeters, anything that you wanted to change as discussed earlier. Now if you see that there is another option which is enabled for us to show the calculate total, and select OK. Now the column area shows as totaled in each segment as per our grouping, and it shows total calculated grand totals. And if I go back to the format and area or the sorting and grouping, untick this grand total, it will hide the grand total, but it shows still the area total in each groupings. We come back and show the grand total for this all elements, so it will together how many numbers and total number of areas. In the same format tab, we have this option conditional format. This also one of the beautiful options that you see it. This can be used for different purposes like quality checking, highlighting the elements, and other things. For example, we are in space schedule. I can add a field named for the light fixture, which is average estimated illumination. So based on our light fixture placement, the room will be calculated with the available um, illuminance fixtures. So it will have their own calculations. It shows how many legs are there in the work plane. So if in case if I am removing this filter, it will show all the rooms like this. I like to find a room which is the luminant flex which is less than 34. In that case, I can go ahead and go to the formatting and say conditional format for the area, conditional format the area, if it is less than the value of 25 meter square, in that case I like to highlight them in red. So I'm saying that if it is less than um, 25 square meter, we have to highlight um, in the area. So let's say okay, okay. So these are the areas which is less than 25 meters squared. With that, we can see in the right side what is that room and how many luxes are there like this. And even we can go ahead and go to the format. We can highlight average estimated illumination, conditional formatting. If the luminance flex which is less than 10 and show that as in red color, select OK, and if any luminance flex is less than 25 it will highlight. So we'll be able to understand that these rooms are having very less flex light illuminations. We have to check these rooms and we have to if the light fixtures are not placed properly, so we have to place them correctly. So this way we will be able to define certain conditions to see what rooms are there and whether they are applied properly. We can check our quality of the model. In other way, we know that some of the light fixtures, they are not assigned with levels. We have find out using the filter or grouping. Even we can use that same option. If the element level is assigned with something else, we will be able to find out. Here if you see that the circuit number is unnamed, it's wrong. And if an element is not assigned with circuit, we can find out using the filters, using the same options like formatting, conditional format, and circuit number equals to unnamed. So you can define your own settings like this and you'll be able to understand so what is the quality of the model, and you can select the model. If any issues, you can go to the model directly from this tab and find out so why this circuit is not assigned properly, and check the proper reason. Connect with the circuit. See, switch is not assigned and the circuit is not properly assigned. You can assign them properly and it will be sorted out in this schedule. So this is how you'll be able to do the quality checkings. And so if you want to format a column or a cells, you have different options in this place, and there is an option in the appearance tab as well. You will be able to use this appearance tab to format your tables. So totally these all are tables. So graphics, one thing is it is about lines and the gaps. Text, it's about the text that you have in the header and the header foot here and the title and overall cell values. You can define your own text or you can keep it as schedule default templates. You can turn off the title or you can show the title. You can see that there is a gap in the beginning of the title. You can hide that like this, and by default it shows a gap. By using this tab, you will be able to control this appearance of it. And appearance, regarding the appearance, you can see there is an option for stripe. It will show as white and gray color like this. You'll be able to differentiate the things. I can highlight these entire row, and there is an option for font and shadings. I like to keep this as dark like this to differentiate the columns. As you know, the headers are standing in the upside. The reason it is, the freezer head is turned down so that when you scroll down, you won't miss the heading. So you have to freeze the header as like in Excel. So each and every cells can be highlighted while you are printing. You can select it and each one of the cells that you want to highlight, and you will be able to customize it based on your requirements like this. So this is all about lighting feature and other all other schedules options. So what are the schedule tools available? So we have to discuss about these things. So for example, so if I want to replace this column level with the some other parameters, I can directly select it from here instead of going here to the field and remove this. Instead of doing that, you'll be able to select it here and change it to something else like model number like this. So this way it will be easy to change from one option to the other. So easy purpose in this place. So second will be the format unit we have discussed earlier, like showing the area parameters from meter square to something else. For in this case, legs unit to a foot cantilla like this. And for the lighting fixtures, I can use the calculated field for area calculation or multiplication, divisions, any formulas that you wanted to use. For in this case, I like to use it in the duct because we have added a cost in this place and we can multiply it to show the cost or any other parameters that we wanted to show it. So for example, let's say the cost will be I'm entering it's a type category for example purpose. I'm just entering 2 AST per square feet, like that, to create a calculated column. So go to the field and you'll be able to have different options in this field. We have discussed not discussed about this, and we will be able to go ahead create a new parameter, or you can create a calculated parameter in this place. Give a name saying that price per element, and we will be having the area and multiplication with the cost. Once if you are creating this, you'll have this error inconsistent unit. Whenever you are trying to do a mathematical operation with different units, this error will be given. So to avoid this error, we have to divide by 1, which means we are dividing area with the 1 square meter area, so it becomes mathematically possible to get the required details. So in this case, it gives us the multiplication value in different units. We can change the unit value as we needed like this. So it's a currency, 0 decimal places or 1 decimal places, and keep it as unit value like this. So this is how you'll be able to use calculated field. If you wanted to create it from the field tab, you will be able to create it. So if you want to create a combination of two things, two columns, for example, area as cost as 1, we will be able to do it. Or you can say that if you wanted to combine these columns together as length into width into height, we will be able to do using the combine parameter. So in this case, I'm looking for the length and I'm looking for separator could be into, and width and the separator could be into, and height. We don't need any separator at the end, I think. So let's hope select OK. So now we have the field which defines both the values like length into width into height. This way we will be able to combine different uh, columns, or otherwise we will be able to group the columns, like selecting the columns by clicking and dragging. There is an option for group, and the group will be defined like this, and you can name this as dimensions. So this is how you'll be able to group them or combine them together as columns, different thing. So once if you have this column, you don't need this column anymore, so you could simply hide them instead of deleting. So instead we can go ahead and say unhide all of the columns, and the columns will be again will be shown. As we discussed earlier, so you know that the rows can be deleted from the Revit. Once if you are deleting it, it deletes the Revit elements, actual element from the model. So make sure that the checking the purpose that element really needed or not, instead of going to the model and deleting one by one and finding. As we discussed earlier, this could be a quality checking, so you can check the quality of the model and whether that element is not needed or not. You can select them together, what elements you don't need it in the model, and simply select delete button, so it deletes the model from the schedule and actual model itself. So once it is defined, so we have discussed about the stripe rows, which is very helpful, and like this, and we'll be able to use them whenever it requires. To merge the cells or unmerge the cells or insert image, you have to select this title places, and you will be able to enable these options and resize this heights like 20 um, millimeter height in this place. And you can able to insert a row also above or below like this from here, and it shows with the option of hides and everything. So I can simply go and select this row and unmerge cells, and the title will be moved to the other cells, and I can select in this place and or together like all these cells and merge it, so it happens to be merged automatically. I can insert our logo, BIM logo from here, and the logos will be appear on the schedules as you need it. I can merge it here and say the schedule headings from copy and paste it here, and like that, and you can remove this heading from here, clear cell from this place. And I can give a project name, so I can say website name, something like this, by selecting together these cells and merge it, and I can say that www.bimmodeler.com. So this way, and I can go ahead and select it, align center, align middle. This way we can keep our content in the middle exactly to the positions. Here we can select all together and merge it, and say we um, we can give our project details, like BIM modeler YouTube tutorial. So we can give like this, and we will be define our content like this. So we knew that we have the our website, so you can visit it, and if you need any services, we can follow us for regarding the Revit, and we'll be able to support you. So this is how you'll be able to use all these tools. So the next thing is that how to export this schedule into Excel. That's the best part we have. Like we can go file and do export, and you can go to the down like this and reports schedules. So the current schedule will be exported directly that location that you are defining as a text file like this duct schedule txt file, and select OK, and it will be tab delimiter or delimiter file, and every details like column header and everything will be exported, and you can go ahead and select Excel and select OK, and you will be able to open this file from your desktop, and you can browse through all the files. So this is going to be a duct schedule. Open it. It is, as we discussed, is a delimited file. Go ahead and next, and we are using a um, uh, tab delimiter or semicolon, the quotation based, I think so. each one. I think this is the one. Let's go ahead and finish this, and our schedule will be exported like this. As you know, it doesn't support the image files and other things, so it comes, the data will be proper and the data will be exported properly to the Excel file. You can save it and reuse it. If you wanted to do a proper export, you can use the add-ins from the Autodesk App Store. You can search for Excel. There are a couple of add-ins. One of the add-in is the DA Roots sheet link, also available, and you can export it and update the data, and you can even import it back to Revit so the data can be updated. It's a bi-directional thing that some of the tools are having. You should try these, one of these, and you'll be able to get to know what is it and how we can make it. So with that, so this is scheduling and exporting is done for you. If you have any questions, you can leave your comments below. In this session, we will be discussing about how to create a phase-based schedules. So to understand the phase-based schedules, we must have a element which is need to be created in the other phases. So I'd like to go ahead and create another air terminal in this place instead of placing usual. So I'll be placing them in this place and changing them after selecting from new construction to existing constructions. So for example, if you are maintenance, or if you are reconstructing a building, existing building after demolition or after some modifications, so this is going to be our existing air terminal. So we have to schedule what are the elements available existing and what are the elements created newly. So to understand, so only one element created in the existing phase as per my knowledge. So let's go ahead and to the view, create a schedule, schedules and quantities, air terminal. Instead of keeping it in new construction, I'm going to keep this as existing constructions. Select OK. So this case, I'm going to create phase, family and everything, and system. I like to understand the system type or system classifications together and add into the list and select OK. If you see that only one air terminal which is listed in this place, reason we have created only one elements in this place. So let's go ahead and um, see and copy that as multiple elements like this. So now there are three multiple air terminals which is placed as existing elements in this place. Let me go ahead and see whether it is existing. So since it's in still in existing, why it is coming as a existing by default new, there is a reason behind it why it is coming as new in a floor plan. So it is defined whatever the elements that you are creating, it should be new construction. So we have defined like that, so it's coming whenever you copy or create a new element, so it's coming as a new. Now I modified as existing. Now it must have the three air terminals as existing air terminals. So this is how you will be able to differentiate the new and existing constructions elements separately. If you see in our already existing air terminals, we will not be listed in this place. The new elements, existing elements will not be listed in the new construction phase elements in here. So this is how you'll be able to differentiate the pacing and how you will be able to schedule and give your elements to the users. So in the previous tutorials, we have discussed how to create a duct schedules like this and create the cast and everything. So we have formatted our cells also as stripe and everything. So these settings are done. Once it is done, so we may have to use the same type of schedule in our next projects or upcoming projects. So you have to save this as a template, or the same format should be used for the other templates that we have over here for the other systems. Similar settings. I don't want to do multiple n number of settings over and again and again. So in that case, as you know that all the schedules will be listed under this options. Currently we are in the duct schedules. You'll be able to right click on them and say create view template from view. This is similar to the view templates. You will be able to create your own view templates from this view. You can say duct schedule. So once if you have done, the duct schedule will be listed and whatever the settings that you have done and related to that. So if you see the field will be listed, filter, grouping and other settings will be listed in this one. So once you don't have to keep this schedule, so you can keep only the template. Whenever the necessary comes, you will be able to change and apply the settings to the other template schedules in here directly. So for example, I'll be able to create a new schedules from the view, create schedules and duct schedules and select OK. And I can add simple fields like this, and I can go ahead and say duct schedules and select OK. Same, all fields will be applied and the settings that what we have done as type settings will be applied here directly. So the another thing is that it will be locked and you won't be able to change the settings. If you see, the fields and filters and everything will be locked and you won't be able to change them as you wish, because it's a standard that we cannot change it. That's the main thing that we are considering in this place. Thank you so much.